The creation of human beings is the climax of the creation week. In the literary structure of Genesis 1, that's clear from a number of things. This is the one time when the Lord says, "Let us make." So there's a deliberation among, I think, the persons of the Trinity about making man. There's this triple statement about man being made in the image of God. The verb create is used 3 times in Genesis 1:27, and there's that's marker of the climax to the whole story. There's also the fact that the Lord creates human beings directly. It's not mediated through the ground like the plants are. The other land animals, the Lord speaks to the land and the land produces these land animals. But the Lord himself makes human beings in his own image. So these are all markers that this is the climax of the creation week, the thing toward which the whole creation week is aiming. But what does it mean for human beings to be made in the image of God? Man is made in the image of God, male and female made in the image of God. But what does that mean? There's been a huge debate about this over the course of the centuries in the Christian church. But I think we get some clues just by looking at Genesis 1 and some of the surrounding chapters. We know it has something to do with rule, because God creates man, male and female, and says, rule over the creation, subdue the world, fill it, rule over the birds, over the fish, everything that creeps on the ground. So in some way, man is imitating the rule of God over the creation. Human beings are the princes and princesses, the kings and queens of the creation. We also have the larger context of Genesis 1. We already know some things about God. God is a speaker, and God is a creator. And when God creates a man, male and female, in his own image, then he's creating beings that use speech, that use language, and that also create. Animals communicate with each other. Animals make things. Wasps make their nests. But human beings make things in a unique way. We make things that are gratuitous, things that aren't necessary for our survival. We make art, and we say things that aren't necessary for our survival. We don't just grunt. We compose poetry, we compose music and song. So it's this artistic dimension, the gratuity, the needlessness of our making that marks it out as different from animal making and marks us out as the image of God. And then as we look at the surrounding chapters, we see that the phrase image of God is used again, or the word image is used again at the beginning of Genesis 5. And there it refers to a son who is born in the image of his father. And so we can read that back into Genesis 1 and we can see that part of the meaning of the image of God is that man is made as God's son, pointing ahead to the true Son, the eternal Son, made in the image of the eternal Son, to be ultimately conformed to the eternal Son. That trajectory from created Son to being conformed to the eternal Son, Jesus, is already built into the creation.